Regardless of popular beliefs and what politicians or companies say about what we did to the climate, the following I believe still remain unanswered and unclear to most extent with the amount of information we have. What is the main contributor of climate change and how can we stop this contribution? Popular answers include oceanic CO2 storing, better preserving of marine life, human activity primarily industrial production and livestock raising, more strictly enforced environmental guidelines and reducing meat consumption. Human activity primarily transportation, reduce usage of cars, encourage public transportation. However, in the meantime also a percentage of people argue it is the natural cycle of Earth's position in relation to the Milky Way which led to more exposure to radiation and thus increasing the surface area. All of those are relatively popular theories and none of them could be busted or is clearly the main contributor to climate change. 2. Have we already reached a point of no return with CO2 emission and destruction of our atmosphere? Many scientists argue that as the humans have polluted the atmosphere so much that this point on the amount of CO2 will only increase until a maximum value is reached. There is a more complicated chain reaction in nature which can be described as the greenhouse gas snowball effect. As the planet gets warmer, the amount of CO2 released from underground, including ocean floor, increases, and the amount of sunlight trapped inside the atmosphere is directly proportional to the total amount of CO2 in it. Therefore, even with human negative emission, it can take centuries to return the original temperature of the Earth before industrialization. 3. Is Greenpeace the right way to go? Yes, most Green Party politicians believe it is important to slow down the industrial production and technological advancements in order to re-examine the effect we had on Earth, and thus return the power in hands of nature and give it time to recover itself. Doing this is in the expense of economic recession, and potentially we are blocking our own way of advancing forward. There exists a probability that unless we pass through a certain technological barrier, we have to live with the smog in the sky. Many physicists believe it could be the innovation of economically productive nuclear fusion. No, many people also believe that scientific advancement is the key to break through the climate change situation. Existing measures do a good enough job in slowing down the climate change but will never be enough to stop climate change. We should take more drastic steps towards technological advancements and perhaps even in the expense of ruining a part of our ecosystem, as we should be able to rebuild it after certain advancements had been made. It is a rather drastic approach, however there is certain viability in it, and as long as we cannot predict future, there isn't a right or wrong answer. Thanks for reading. Hope you find these questions and partial answers are interesting and helpful.